These are great Picasso. I mean, Jesus. Now I'm being nice to Pablo. Because, the force the man has. As he reaches down and pulls up that vertical, you feel like he's actually pulling through space like that, and he slams that horizontal against it. And by rights, that should be ugly. I mean, that two-eyed profile. But how sweet it is, how lovely it is. It's amazing. It's an amazing painting. It's so powerful. It's got all of the elan and savagery, the ferocity and energy of Picasso. I think it's Picasso at his prime for me. And the same thing with this new, malicious as hell, without doubt. I mean, he notches the sex, he makes the anus and the navel, these little diagonal slits, etc., and his howling maw and all the rest. How marvelously he puts that thing together, huh? And you can see the influence that had on so many of the American painters of the New York school, and certainly de Kooning before de Kooning. Gorky, looking at that, they never got it, but they looked at it. Beautiful, beautiful painting. There, I think, to me, that's Picasso at his best. It's very funny. In Reagan in Iceland, a couple of summers ago, the widow of Picasso, that's before she was on, she sent a show of Picasso to Reagan for her personal collection. There were some remarkable things and some very weak things. And among the weakness was a late unfinished canvas on an easel. A large easel with rags on it. It's as though he wanted to do what Giacometti could do. Giacometti could look at an easel with some rags and a paint can and give you a masterpiece. But he became academic. And it's like he abandoned the painting in the middle of it, it looked like. You know, it's like facing directly, he became academic. But when he does like this, he's just heaven itself. The next, please. Now, I love this Picasso. I know it's a horrible slide. It's a miserable slide, but I love it. I love everything about it. I think he doesn't always get the color I like, but this one, I like what he does with those earth colors. I like this huge white plane which comes out into this piece of music. I like this crazy wit of Picasso, where he has these little hands against these big planes. I love the way he's got that dog that's sitting there. It is a great painting. It always turns me on. But the painting, which is catty corner to it, of the three women around a fountain, it faces the Leger. And the Leger and the Picasso figures and blows it apart. I don't have a slide of that. So I took a slide of a Picasso from the Picasso beginning. And I think this is a bad painting. I just don't like this Picasso. I think he forces it. I think it's like, you know, he's insensitive to what happens with these lights that he works here. There's not enough change between these rays that happen here. And the whole thing just becomes heavy and forced. And here he's singing away, he's a marvelous painter, and here I feel he fails. Well, why not? Duran fails, Picasso fails, Giacometti fails. That's the nature of the game. The next, please. Again, I find it's a forced painting by Picasso, not a good painting by Picasso. It's like, it hovers between sculpture and painting in a sense. And it just is very uneasy. I find this one of the masterpieces of the age. Again, reproductions. That is a blue. That dark plane of the sky is a blue up there. I'm sorry about that. It's a blue, and it's not at all the color it is. How can I explain this painting? The first time I saw it in the original, I mean, I've seen it in reproduction many times, but the original was when I went to the Palace of Tokyo, and it was hanging. We went in the main door, and all the way at the end, like a good city block, there was this Duran. People like that. What was the color like? Certainly not the color in this thing. Maple yellow, various siennas and earth reds, blue of the sky, but magic. Everything was magic. I mean, here in this debased reproduction, which is all homogenized in terms of color, you can't see the change between this and this and this, but it's a miraculous thing. It's just one of the great paintings. That's the kind of painting that should be hanging next to the three musicians by Picasso, facing the Leger, showing you the different attitudes of these great painters. But of course, this painting put on the open market will bring about a zillion times more than that was. Next, please. But that's nothing to do with it. That's a market. I apologize for that. This is terrible slide. I want to talk about that horrible experience I had with Egan's and Winslow Homer and say, these are the guys that are precise. I mean, this thing by Ang, which is in the Philadelphia Museum, which is a Michelin collection. Now, the color in that is debased by the slide, we know that. But as Matisse would say about Ang, his color was perfectly appropriate, you know, to the drawing. You like the color of Ang. And when you see this painting with this marvelous diagonal doing that, everything accounted for, this great form here, thing like that, it's one of the great portraits by Ang. And then, of course, I hate this thing like who's better than who, but I've got to tell you something. One of my favorite, I guess if I had to run out with a painting of the neck, if the place was burning, I'd run out with the Epiphany by Giotto. But I mean, this would be a close second. This is a wild painting. It is such a wild painting. I mean, Dürer, how can he do what he does? First of all, the harmony of the color, which doesn't come through enough in a slide. It's a crazy thing of deep greens against a rosy red against all these different changes. But look what he does with the form. Look what he does with a thing like that. A little piece of the chin here. He articulates Christ and even puts a reflection in her eye, and yet it remains big. And what is the test? If you say a great master. A great master is a guy who can articulate from something very small to something large and back again, and you have that smooth rhythmic flow. To me, this is a never-ending source of delight for me at the Met. Marvelous painting. Of course, this is in Philadelphia. And marvelous slide, a great painting. The next, please. I was going to talk about the egg of why. Oh man, you know. Try to do a self-portrait. It's such a good. I try again and again to get something. I don't know how these guys did it. Well, of course, the Cezanne. You know, brings back right away always the memory of the Cezanne show of last week. How did that guy have that kind of force? You know, Cezanne, the fucking contour escapes me. Look what he's doing up there. Look at that. Look at the dome of that head. Look at the velocity of the drawing. The hits, coming up and like that. And this marvelous vertical plane that's here. And he puts that silver over his beard here, and he makes this marvelous thicket of divisions of color planes here, and this terrific eye, this lizard lid to the eye, and that nose coming out here way over in space to here. Oh, superb, superb. And of course, Matisse, probably the most gifted of all the great painters of the 20th century. I mean, he had proportions, rhythms, the whole thing he has down. Marvelous. When he does something like this, I sort of look at it in awe. I go, man, you know, it's so horrible. They had to show Matisse for it in Museum of Modern Art. Beautiful prints. It was prints, actually, wasn't it? A show of prints. I mean, they had great lithographs, great etchings by Matisse. And then in the adjoining room, you entered, it was like a continuation of the show. And there was David Hockney. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, David Hockney does a portrait. And maybe it's clever and it belongs in Vogue and Vanity Fair. But you know, look at that Matisse. I mean, you know, in that Matisse, here's that cheek, here's that nose, and you go back in space here, and you go over here. You know, I go in my mind trying to do a portrait, trying to get that sort of thing happening. David Hockney doesn't have to worry about it. You know, it's all one plane. It's like the Winslow Homer or like the Ravens. I think they're better than Hockney, but still. And I mean, Hockney's supposed to be a very good guy, nice guy. Sorry, but I don't think he's a good painter. But this is wow. Let's see a few more heads. We're coming to the end of the beginning.